Well, good day to our podcast community. In the studio, we have an incredible special guest. He's younger than our normal guest, and he is got a skill set that is probably a skill set you won't ever see because but we're going to get into the podcast. And I want John tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then we'll get into our podcast.
All right, my name is John Oliveira, and I am I'm a Brazilian, slash American,
Hmm.
but Brazilian at heart. And we help homeowners create their ideal home environment, through services on kitchen and bathroom remodeling.
Not I've always heard that when you want to increase the value of your home, that you go for the kitchen and the bathroom. Is that what you find when people are saying, "Hey, John, we want to do this"? Is it that they want that better experience and also want to increase the value of their home?
Yeah, so definitely updating the house, it will bring value to the home for sure.
Hmm.
There are other things that can be done as well that will increase the value. Uh, and, not just the value. What I believe is that, our home is our place to, enjoy our uh,
Hmm.
me time, our time, right?
Yes.
And there's no better place than, environment that we enjoy, that we look and be happy, be content with.
That I like how you said that because I know that, a lot of times our home gets aged and it's like, what do? We don't want to move, but we also want to make that home real personal to us. When somebody calls you and they have a vision of wanting to do their kitchen over or their bathroom, what kind of questions are they asking you when you're getting the initial process started with them?
Uh, well, the people that I normally work with, a lot of times I help them, um, I help them extract what they have in their heads,
Hmm.
which is the fun part for me in this
Hmm.
business, because a lot of people they have great ideas, but they sometimes have trouble, like, putting out there.
Hmm.
And so the question they would ask is like, what's trending right now? Or, um, you know, what can I say? Bulk color pellets, things
Hmm.
like that nature.
I love that answer because it leads me to my next question, which I wanted to do anyway, but I wanted to kind of see where there was a connection. So there's a girl, Juliana. Juliana, this is for you. Hello. She showed up on a Saturday morning at, I think it was 8 o'clock. She brought treats from a Brazilian bakery. She was dressed to the nines. I mean, she had a friend with her who she worked with that, that her friend didn't speak English like she did, but her friend was there to support her. The point I make is, what is it? I mean, I've told this story a number of times. The branding that comes out of Brazil is off the chain. It's just that what did when you described like taking something from their mind and putting it in to colors and trends and just putting that modernization. What was it like? So you're growing up in Brazil. What do you think really kind of put that seed in your mind about something as focused as that is like what colors, what brand, what am I trying to communicate? Is there anything that you can think of that really stands out?
Mm, honestly, I'm trying to think here right now. I don't think I would have the answer for that question.
Well, they didn't have an answer for it too. I mean, I said, but I see similar patterns because I've had I've had Maria, who's from Brazil. She used to clean my place. Juliana cleans it now. I have Brunella, who is a marketing branding expert for a big company. And so she's been here since 16. And she just has a branding mindset that colors, because when she looked at my colors initially, it was like we didn't really get exactly what we wanted, because there is, and I didn't even know, just for our viewers that may be like myself, when I asked her initially, so I said, so you speak Spanish? She goes, well, yeah, a little bit, but you know, but my native language is Portuguese. I went, what? Portuguese? How's that happen? And then she told me a little bit of the story. So I don't know if everybody are like me, like I didn't even know that till 2 years ago. So what how was it like growing up? Like you were born here and then you went back to Brazil and grew up there. What was it coming back here? What was it like? What were you kind of thinking? Like, I know you were a little boy. I think you said you moved at 3. So what was it like coming to see the contrasts in the two countries?
Hmm. Uh, I don't know if I ever noticed. Well, now I can't
Hmm.
say because at the time, like I said, I went, super, I was 3, and I went there, like so. Basically, I was the things that I was starting to learning at that age, I it slowly fade away, and then I just got really into the culture of Brazil.
Hmm.
And then when I came here, it was like an adventure, let me find out. And
Hmm.
again, I just like immersed myself in the American culture. I got here, I was able to go to high school. So it was like really, into the American culture and understand. And
Hmm.
I'm always fascinated by other people's perspective and the
Hmm.
way that they are, and I like to learn from them. And that's the one thing when you asked the previous question. What makes us the way that we are is just, I don't know, like the Brazilian. We are so like fascinated. If you go to Brazil right now,
Hmm.
you like if you find someone, like if you just meet someone, in the end of the day you're gonna be at their home like eating barbecue or
Really?
coffee. It's
Okay.
really crazy. So I
Yes.
guess like we get connected to people where you probably have heard of it, like we are made of energy. So we exchange energy, and that makes us
Yes.
attract small things that I don't notice, but I just come out, if it makes sense.
No, it absolutely does, because it's funny that I'll be on a podcast and the person has always been that way. And let's just say Larry Hauser. Let's mention his name. He happens to be in the studio. Okay. So I'm in a small group with him and I sensed his humor. I mean, he defaults to humor. So everything is kind of wound around how do I make a situation more enjoyable, funny. And so when I asked him, like after we were putting an event together, I said, so, we don't have a senior that has a sense of humor. And I said, would you consider doing stand-up comedy? And it was like 99 out of 100 people would have said, you're crazy. No, I won't. Because the thing about comedy, which is different than public speaking, it's 100 times harder, because if somebody doesn't laugh, you're naked. You're up there just exposed.
Yeah.
And public speaking is the second biggest fear to dying. And so when you look at public speaking and you think, okay, not only am I going to be public speaking, I'm going to try to get these people to laugh. So it's like 100, probably 100 out of 100. No, we'll go 99 out of 100, because he said, yeah, what the heck? I mean, and he did it. And oh my gosh, I watch it over and over again because I'm absolutely shocked. And the reason I say this for our viewers to understand, he's been doing it his whole life. So he doesn't see it like I do, because you've been that way. And I think the Brazilian culture is a warm, and Juliana showing up with, showing up with bakery goods from a Brazilian bakery. It's like, that's natural to your culture.
Yeah.
It's like, and I was going like, wow, only one other person, and they did it with like a donut. Single, but it was still a beautiful gesture. But nobody, if you could have seen the assortment of all, so this is like going to the bakery that morning, or I don't know if it was that morning, but it was fresh, all these kind of different, bakery. And I'm asking her, what's that? What's that? They're trying all these things. But my point is that seems to be, just like you said, it's a warm, like, get to know you, have, share my culture with me. And I was like, man, I was like, where did you get these? I ended up getting them for another time, a special event, because I said, would you pick them up? Because I don't know what to pick out. And so she did, and it was another event. But it was just that kind of mindset that is totally very unusual. And so when you say, like, when you were like, okay, deciding what to do, you describe to our viewers that your clients will say they'll have an idea in their mind, and you have to take that idea and put it in play. When you decided what to do, what part of you was drawn to what you're doing now? Why did you do it?
Why do I do it?
Yeah.
So there is this thing called, you probably heard, like, love language, right?
Yes.
All of humans,
Yep.
all of us humans,
Yep.
we have, like the love language.
Yep.
And I just came to learn that afterwards, but it's something that I grew up with, is the act of service. It's something that it's like, it's in me. I remember actually when I got here, when I was growing up, and I actually used to work at Publix at some point.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead.
And then I remember, like, having a tough day or something like that. What would make my day? It's being able to serve someone and really, like, literally helping, whatever, how small it is. I would, like,
yes,
ended up my day like, oh, I gained the world. It was like, so it's, for me, it's like this thing of, I need to help. Like, what can I do? I know a lot of times I'm not gonna have all the sources that I would like to have it, but in the end, like, what can I do? Even if it's a small thing, like, can I pray for you? Like, just a small thing, but it's in my heart. Like, what can I do to make your life easier? Because life itself, it's not, easy at all. So,
totally.
Yeah. So that's, I think, if I answer your question.
That did. Not only did it answer it, it answered a question in my mind, because I've had Juliana on twice. I've had Maria on, I think, twice. And I've always kind of wondered, what's the common theme? And we've had another person, she was down in Brazil when she was doing the branding podcast. And Wellington has a team down there that he has, and they're all branding experts. But I think what you have just solved for me is acts of service. They all have an acts of service mindset, which, until you described that, I was like, what is common between all the people that were born in Brazil, came here, and had that something was different. I know branding. That's certainly different, but you just solved a problem for me. Acts of service. It is crazy that they all have that common. Juliana, if anybody's listening, she delivered acts of service, a beautiful balloon assortment for my granddaughter on Father's Day. Father's Day, she's out there with her husband. They're delivering it, and because she loves to serve. And so that has always come through in knowing her and how she approaches life. So you've absolutely made my day, because I was like, something's not clicking here, what I can't figure out. So, all right, so let's go back to yourself. All right, that just I could end this podcast and just have the happiest moment, because you literally said one thing that I could not figure out. So let's talk about what you do and how your acts of service. So you describe to our viewers. So in your position, like, what gives you the most kind of joy each day when you're working with, people, and you're working with, ideas in people's mind about what they do? What fills that heart up?
What fills my heart up? Like something specific.
Yeah, like, what do you, when you come home and you go, dang, that was a good day, and somebody had trouble in their mind thinking about what they wanted to do, and you were able to kind of, with your expertise, bring that idea to the bathroom or the kitchen, and they're all excited because they had no idea what the potential would be until maybe they're talking to you about, what you can do in a transformational process in their home, making, like you said, the home is a special place.
Yes.
So they have an outdated home, but they want to bring a special, because my brother did it with his, like a pad, not, what do you call it, a sunroom.
So
And the reason he did it, he wanted the kids to come home, and it's kind of a place they hang out. They cook out right next to it. So he took his existing home, and it made it beautiful.
right.
But so I guess my question, I don't know if that's a question or just
Mhm.
shared, that like you said, was when we were serving at Publix, you just looked for that little moment where you served. So are there little moments in what you do now that you still get that kind of good feeling?
Yes, when I surprise them, because like in this
Mm-hmm.
industry, as long as I've been, in it, I noticed that it's a lot of, um, like you tell me, so let's just do what's on the agreement. Like if we talked about doing this, that's it. And a lot of times I work with people that they were like very harsh, or I don't know how to say it, but in a negative way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm always like, my mindset was like, what can I do extra? Like how can I surprise them? How
Mm-hmm.
can I like take an extra step or walk an extra mile,
Mm-hmm.
with them? And a lot of times, and working whenever I'm doing your work,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very detailed, like, because it's just like an artist, when you're seeing a
Mm-hmm.
paint,
Yep.
the beauty, it's on the details. So I think the same way, although construction, it seems like a rough, tough thing, I see as an art,
Mm-hmm.
like, so I always see a little bit beyond. And when I can do something extra for them and they notice and I can see the smile, oh man, that was like, yes.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
I think back to my brother when it was finished. It was like the joy of knowing that him and his wife had created an environment that the kids could come to, and they would just hang out
Yeah.
and be. So yeah, but I remember when he finished it and he was videotaping and showing me. It was like a proud papa of something that
Right.
had been. I don't know who he worked with. I mean, I know he worked with somebody, but he had an idea in his mind, and whoever took that idea obviously did a great job of creating what he had in his mind
Yeah.
and putting it together. So, yeah, that's so cool to know that that is your mindset of, because you're right, construction is kind of the perception is, it's get your hands dirty, these are blue collar hardworking people. But when you approach it as, like you said, as an artist, that's a totally different mindset. I mean, because you're approaching it differently than just, I'm going to put together this new bathroom. And, you're putting it together to watch that smile, that surprise on their face. Like, wow. It's like, and so that's where I was trying to get to when I was asking you an indirect, or not a question that wasn't so clear. So that was my bad on that. So I want you to, because I promised you I would have you out of here at 7:30, and I'm looking at 7:30 right now. So would you tell our viewers, because I know my viewers, they absolutely love people that are artists, that do just don't work to work. They work to make something different for people. And I'm looking for your name. I'm looking for it. I'm trying to find it here. Where the heck did I put it? Okay, I think I put it up here. Let's see. I want our viewers to know how to get a hold of you. Son of a gun, where the heck did I put it? Okay. I think I was, dang, I must have put it. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to on the fly. Okay, tell me. Okay, I want you to tell me, because this will be out there and people are going to have to know how to get a hold of you to get a hold of an artist.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's so good. All right, hold on. I'll get to it. All right, I know it's 678. Go ahead.
900
900
7748.
7748. Okay. All right. Sometimes we do it on the fly. Okay. Now, okay, viewers, I want to challenge you. You want you want something, you want to be wowed with your remodel, with your bathroom, with your kitchen. This is the man right here. Let me see. Right there. I don't know how I do it right there. Right there. There we go. Call him. Share this podcast with people that want a special experience. They just don't want a remodel. They want something that's going to absolutely, when people walk into your home, they go, wow, who did this? And then they go, yeah, John did this. Yeah. So tell our viewers, how can they get a hold of you?
So they can call me at the number 678-900-7748. I'm, pretty quick to respond.
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
Yeah. And we also have you can check us online.
Okay.
At you first and spelling YOU.
Okay.
First and then HI.com.
Okay.
You're going to see our website. And also on Instagram. And once you get to the Instagram, you're going to see our Instagram page and also our Facebook page. And there you're going to see some of our projects that we've done, we completed in the Marietta community.
Well, we'll do this. If you are okay with it, we'll invite you back because I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. For people to see some of your work, I think kind of gives them they know that this is the kind of work you've done. They're going to want their home similar to what you've created for others. So we'll have that on there. We didn't do it because I wasn't able to get it together in time. So thank you so much for being a guest. Now, what would you want, the one thing you would want our viewers to take home with them from this podcast? If you could share one thought, what would it be?
Good question. I mean, I would say, have the heart of loving and serving.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I actually recently just heard, is that whenever we serve whenever we give without expecting something return, there are chemicals in our brain that it's the same as like as dopamine, I want to say.
Yep.
You know,
Mhm.
so
I've heard that.
so honestly, like, you know, whatever small things, I'm not saying, you know, big things, just a small, you know, hand someone a glass of water. It's it's the best thing that, you know, someone can do to each other, because we are all people depending on people, you know, like we are not
Yes.
beings of to live by ourselves. And I guess that would be
Dang,
my
I tell you what,
take.
if this is for you, Larry, this is what I call a grand slam comment. You knocked it out of the park. So that's my baseball knowledge right there. That was excellent. I mean, I love it. And now I know really the common thing for Brazilians is active service. It's crazy. And you've helped me kind of complete the loop. So thank you so much for
Thank
being a
you.
guest on our
Thank
podcast.
you for having me here today. It was a
Oh,
very fun. I'm very happy to be
well, as Chick-fil-A would say, my pleasure.
here.